Okay, back with another stream. Hopefully I won't be coughing like I was on the previous one. Checking my... Cut the volume up on the laptop a lot from I was checking my videos a while ago. Yeah, that's silly. Elapsed time is still backwards. It starts out at -1 hour and then starts going to towards 0. But it'll still everything still works. So don't worry about it now. This time, well, the first time it threw me off big time. So before I was the previous video, I was booting up Fedora 27 different remixes in Virtual Box, and then I booted. Well, I ended up booting up the Debian 9 installer. I thought I had downloaded a live Debian, 1 or 2 of them, but I didn't actually end up getting. I just had the installers. I was getting the CDs because they were smaller, CD versions because they were smaller. Go here and get on this site. That's what I was going to do next. Okay, here's the main website for Debian, and kind of double reload it. That's the other thing that bugs the heck out of me. I need to turn the volume down over there so that I can do that without it being so loud that it's picking up on the mic here. I've been able to do, if I don't have it loud enough, I can tell I can hear myself, but it won't pick up real bad on the mic, and then I can do it without having to take a sidetrack out of my video. It's quite as bad. I mean, it still distracts me enough I can't hardly do it while I'm, okay, I see the right page. I did turn it down too low. And there. Gotta at least be able to hear myself so I know that I've got audio and video over there. Well, it's been, I don't know, it's been 2 hours since my last video. I just kept coughing so much I couldn't go on, and I had the window cracked a little bit so I wouldn't be hot, but it was actually a little chilly because it was 46 or so last night. Now, well, it was still that cool at, at 7. Yeah, it was around 7:30. It's 8:40 now, so I guess it's about an hour. And the sun wasn't up yet. The daylight savings time, we just did that, and it's still throwing me off. I'm used to the sun coming up right at 7. But I'm used to it because I'm up all night, not because I get up so darn early. Well, it depends. I live on a rotating schedule. I can't stay on the same schedule. I always sometimes I have trouble sleeping and stuff, get thrown off, but usually I get. And not usually. Sometimes I get involved in my computer stuff, and then I stay on it too long, And little by little, it's longer and longer. Anyway, last night I got up around 10, and so now I'm getting tired. My day's getting close to the end, but I finally got back to working on my mom's PC upgrades and operating system upgrades, and I wanted to do as much as I can. So, if I was to do Debian, and I'm going to download the live image so that I can try it out. Well, not just in VirtualBox, but put it on a USB stick and try it out on her machine. But this is the main Debian website, the main page, home page, and this is what you get. And if you just want to download an installer, just click on that link right up there to the green one to the right, and that'll get you. Let's click on it. I won't do it, but I'll click on it. So what it'll get you is the Debian 9.4.0 AMD64 net install. So if that's what machine that'll run a 64-bit machine, then and yeah, used to you had to download. It says AMD64, and used to if it was called AMD, it was for an AMD processor, and that really threw me off for a while when everybody started. They don't want to make their names too long, so. But they'll go AMDs, Intels, either one. But they won't go all the other exotic. I call them exotic. They call it that a lot sometimes. But sparse and all those other things. I mean, Debian and Fedora Linux will run on a lot of different architectures. Of course, I've never had anything but, Intel and AMD processors. And the phones I have, and I have a Raspberry Pi. It has I forgot the name of the processor. I'll see it. Maybe I'll see it here in a minute when I go through this stuff. But the other processor, the little mobile processor they usually call it. But here's it's got lots and lots of, you know, pretty short and sweet, but then there's lots and lots of links to go through. And if you've never done Debian before, you're probably gonna need to read through some of this. But I'm gonna kind of take in the video here. I'll go through a few shortcuts since I've done it. I forget, and I had to go back and read through stuff. I did a bunch, some reading and following pages the other day, and then I downloaded some ISOs, and then I'm back, kind of reviewing, But anyway, this right here, getting started, is good, best place to get started. There's news below that, about what's been going on lately in their project. And I'll go ahead and keep closing pages as I go because try to keep shut, and cut down on resource usage. This is the page where you can download the live install images. You can boot up, just like I was doing earlier. You can boot them to a live operating system and install from them. And the only thing about that is if you're like me, I have two USB sticks. I've got two USB sticks and an SD card that goes in a USB that I have in a USB adapter. It's 32 gigabytes, but the USB sticks are only 2 gigabytes, so I can't get a 3 or 4 gigabyte image. And some of these are big like that. We'll see. I think that's why I didn't get them the other day. And I could probably. I have on my 32 gigabyte. I don't want to erase it, the whole thing, because I have a system put on it called Easy to Boot. Easy to Boot? Yeah, I think it is called Easy to Boot. Easy with a 2, number 2 instead of TO. But actually, all I got to do just to try them out now. Every time it's meant just to be a live thing to try things out, and it warns you that most of your Linux installers won't work from it. And I've tried it, and proved it. It doesn't work. It'll happily let you try, but then it'll just error out, and you don't get any messages because those installers aren't built to understand, for that eventuality. So it's something to do with the way, that it has to workarounds to get things to boot. But anyway, you can install from Windows. I've done that with it, or I think I did. I've ran the installers to try to fix my broken Windows 7s when they got all messed up. But anyway, it says you can install it, but it was actually really complicated to set up. That's why I don't want to mess it up. But it's really, you can run like live virus scans and all that from it just fine, because that's all they're meant to do is run live. And so I don't want to mess it up if I, to like put, 4 gigabyte live OS on it all by itself, because I'd have to erase everything on there. I need to find a nice way to back it up. The thing is, you can't just copy the files and it won't boot anymore. You'd have your files, but it wouldn't boot. I need to like do an image of it with Clonezilla or something. I don't know, but I haven't done that. So they call it flavors instead of remixes or spins here in Debian. So you can get different desktops, Genome, KDE, LXDE, all that. The ones I downloaded were XFCE, and Debian 8 came with Mate, and that's just like Genome 2. That's the one I like. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention, and I didn't get in the right place. But what I have is XFCE and their installers. What I really want is Mate, because Debian is really lightweight, and Mate's my favorite desktop. So I don't need the lightest. XFCE is the lightest desktop available. Now I might need it if I wanted to put. I bet it would run on. It'd run on those old Pentium 4s and Celerons just fine. I've got Debian 6 and 7 on a 350 megahertz Pentium 1. I have Debian 6, and Debian 7 I have it on a 500 megahertz Pentium 1. And it runs just fine. The only problem, if you go get on the internet and try to look things up, then the browsers are too old. You can't upgrade them to the newest version. It couldn't run it. They couldn't run. The machine couldn't run it if you could. but the browsers don't support those old operating systems. Is the reason you can't do it. But you can you can get on Google, do searches, and you can. It depends on how the pages are built. They can't run. I guess you would say a lot of the modern web page codes, but the older ones it can. So architecture, and now these live ones are only available for 32-bit PC i386, in other words, and 64-bit PC AMD 64. I believe that, and like I said, I believe that'd run on Intel or AMD processors. That's all, and that's fine for me because that's what I have is i386s. Well, they're really 586s, but i386 will run on anything from. Well, used to they'd run on anything from a 386 to a 586, but not anymore. I don't know why they keep calling it that, because you'd be hard pressed for it to even be compatible with a real i386, but much less the resources needed to do it. And there's a release note about it dropping a bunch of them. I might show that in a minute because it threw me off. I thought they weren't going to have these anymore because of it. Let me go look at it right now. I closed my shortcuts. I was in there, my bookmarks. I was in there finding everything. I was doing really well. I hadn't coughed in about 40 minutes or so, hardly at all, not enough for me to notice it. And now, as soon as I talk again, I cough. But I think I took my cold pill, and I had my cough drop before I got off my last video, and I thought, well, I'm going to close the window because maybe there's something in the air that's killing me this morning. I like to have fresh air, and I don't want to be hot in here, but I'm not hot today. It's cool, been cool. But the fresh air sometimes just messes me up with my allergies so bad. But if it gets so stale in this house so fast, I can't stand. Most of the days I'll leave the windows at least cracked all day, or all night or whatever it is. Okay, I've got all my bookmarks. You can see I got plenty of Linux. These are the Linux distros that I have tried out at one time or another. Starting right there, and since 2005. Well, maybe I haven't tried every one of these out. There might be a few there. Usually they'd be in a folder that says Linux distros to try out, But any of them that's got the name of the distro, I've tried them out. I'm pretty sure. At least 98% of them, I'll just say that. So anyway, and some of them I've used quite a bit, But anyway, Debian and Fedora are the ones I've actually just used on a daily basis. So, Fedora mostly, but I used Debian 4.5. I don't even have it in here, but Debian etch and a half. It was 4.5 or something for 2 years straight, every day, all day. That was my system. But before that, I started with Fedora 5, and then it started having something went wrong. Well, I won't go into all that again. But anyway, I switched at Fedora 9. Then it went back, and after 2 years of Debian, I went back to Fedora, and I've been with Fedora ever since. So anyway, here's 9, and what was I? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, open new tab. That way I won't mess up what I got. So the 32-bit architecture thing, I saw an article somewhere, and I went to, and I said, I better pay attention to that. That's going to really mess things up for all my old machines I like to run Debian on because it's lightweight and it'll run on them, But it says dropping support for older 32-bit hardware architectures. And I'm not going to read all that, but it was saying Debian, this was in May 2016. Let's see. Debian was decided last year to increase the minimum CPU. I'll read this part so that maybe it'll open my eyes to what I thought I remembered. The Debian development team announced on May 27, 2016 that they are going to drop the older i386 architecture processor support on Debian 9 stretch release cycle. It was decided on on last year, decided on last year to increase the minimum CPU features for i386 architecture to 686 class. Okay. Yeah. So that means, now that tells me all my old machines, anything older than a 686, and I believe my Pentium 4s are 586s, won't run on this. This means dropping support for 586 class and hybrid 586, 686 processors. Support for 486 class processors was dropped somewhat accidentally in Squeeze. Okay. This was implemented in Linux kernel packages starting with 4.3, which was uploaded to unstable in December. They mean unstable domain. The unstable domain version last year. GCC library has been changed recently to target 686 class processors, which will crash other processors. However, running testing or unstable, they are advised to use Jessie, which will support until at least 2018, which is now, and until 2020 if i386 including Jessie LTS. Now Jessie, I believe, is the one I have on my 500 megahertz Pentium 1 out in the garage. Let's see. The following processors supported in Jessie are now unsupported. AMD K5, K6, so and so. Some processors, I don't know what they are. I've heard of Cyrix, but that's for servers, I think. Don't really know what those are. And then Intel Pentium 1 with MMX. I remember that was a big deal, MMX technology. And Ryzen, I don't know what that one is, or that one is. But this here, that's the common desktop PCs and laptops, older ones. Well, and these AMDs. But I didn't have any. I had one. I don't know which one it was now. I don't remember. Somebody, my friend Jeff, gave me, and I broke it. Back at that time, you had to. I actually ruined the processor, and I had to try real hard, but I did it. It was you had to. They weren't hybrids. You couldn't. It wasn't this. Intel or AMD. It was either or. Either Intel. You had either downloaded Debian or Fedora that was made for Intel or made for AMD. Excuse me. And it warned you that you could, damage your processor if you tried to run the wrong one. I think especially on AMD. Well, I forgot. I was all excited to get. I just got the machine from him. This machine he gave me, and it was old and it wasn't going to be useful for anything but playing with. But I was going to play with it, and I booted it up. And it shut down. Booted up and it shut down. So I thought, there's something wrong. Maybe there's something wrong with that power supply. So I took it out and put a newer, more powerful one in it, and it made the magic smoke. Then it hit me. I mean, it just hit me. You know what you have on that CD, and it's for Intel. So I ruined it. So nowadays you don't have to worry about that, unless you're like using the older versions of Linux on older machines. You pay attention to that. So, and you would have to use an older version for a machine that old, because these, Domain 9 from now on. Well, I don't think that a machine that old. Let's see. Well, like I said, Jessie. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I have on. I think Jessie is 7. Yeah, it would be, because this is during the time of Domain 8. That's what I have on my Pentium 1 500 megahertz. So, back to downloading your live images. Sorry, coughing again. Okay, now, I'm not going to read over this whole page. I'm terrible at reading aloud anyway. Here's the links down here. Now, you can use a BitTorrent app, or you can just download them straight over here on these links. Thought I would do both just to demonstrate the differences and how you do it. So I'm going to click on that AMD 64 there. Oh, and it's going to take you to the page where you for all of those AMD 64s. Oh, okay. I've already been there. My bookmark's already there. Okay, now I use a BitTorrent app that should just open up when I download a BitTorrent file. And I'm going to try to skip every little detail here if I can. Now what I want is mate. Okay, these are all torrents. Yeah, I've been to this page, but I didn't download mine by torrent. But and I already downloaded the MD5 sums, but I didn't download the SHA sums and stuff, the checksums, to check that your image is good. I think I'll go ahead and download a couple of those this time. But I'm going to go make sure and get mate this time. I am very curious. Now see, this one, okay, but it's not, see it says torrent file editor. It's not downloading the ISO, it's downloading a torrent file. So I'm going to say save. And it's going to be download over here to my, I'm not in the right place. It's my image, let's see. It's going to go to my downloads page, to my downloads folder. There it is. Now it should, I don't know. Oh, I didn't do it. I wanted to save it anyway, but yeah, if I would have said open with the BitTorrent app, then it would have just been automatic. But if you get it downloaded like I just did, then make sure my Crusader, I don't know what it is with Crusader. It doesn't normally run that much processing power. I don't think it even does it whenever I'm making a video, because I do this all the time. Let me go ahead and use it to open up this, and then I think I'll close Crusader again. But since I'm working machine, I'm going to close it. Okay, now see, there we go. Error open in torrent. Home down Debian live image contains invalid data. Which one is it? That's the one I'm trying to download. Okay, something went wrong with that. And see, all I did was double click it and it opened it up in transmission, the BitTorrent app. But, and now I have it click there to start when added and all that stuff. Now, something went wrong with this one. It didn't work. And let's see what it's going to do. At least it said it didn't. It says it's downloading from 0 of 16 peers. Now it's working. Why did it say it has no data, but it's working? Okay, it's downloading right now, and it's usually pretty quick. And just go ahead and move this over to this workspace here. And just let it work. And these are the other ones that I've already downloaded. It only seeds. Seeding is when you're sharing. See, you're sharing your files you downloaded with the others out there on BitTorrent land. That relieves it spreads the bandwidth and the work on the machines out to everybody's machines instead of putting it all on one server, so that the people that are sharing their files with you, they'd like for you to do this. And as long as everybody's, especially with open source apps and all that, they still have to be security checks and all that, but it's not the same thing. If you've only heard of BitTorrent for downloading, movies and music and stuff that's might not even be legal where you live, I don't know where you live, I guess. That's not, it's like a hammer. It's a tool. You can use it to build a building, or you can use it to hit somebody on the head. So BitTorrent's not a bad thing. But you can do bad things with lots of different things in life. So, or things that other people don't like sometimes, even if you don't think it's bad. But Oh, I want to. I still haven't closed that. Now, I always move them to my backup drive because I'll run out of space really quick, but not until after it's downloaded. Okay, now here's the torrent file. Oh, I don't want to right click. I want to click view and see why. It can't be empty or it wouldn't work. See, it's not empty. Excuse me. It's not the torrent file anyway. Oh, yeah, it is. I thought torrent files were just text files, but it looked like a program. I just don't remember. I don't use them very often. But see, it's halfway done, and I'm just sitting here coughing and talking. So now, that's the page that opened up when I, clicked the download link. But once you've got the file, you can close that. You can usually close it anyway, but once in a while you run into a site where if you close it, it breaks your download. So I usually wait. Now, oh yeah, I already have MD5 sums, and these sums have more than just the one you're downloading. They have the keys or the sums for like everything on this page here. So the bigger than SHA 256 and so on, those are the ones that are supposed to be the most secure, best way to check. So what I do is I open it up. I can hit Control and click on the link, and then I hit Save Page As. And you could, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do this because I'll hit Cancel. They all have the same name, but they don't all go to the same file. So I think I'll just do it this way. It may go more than one, but I just got to find some way to organize it. Last time I did it, I just put like a 1 on the end. I don't know which way I want to do it. Either I'm going to put it at the beginning, or I think I'll put the file name. And normally I don't. I don't want to leave the ISO. I don't want any dots in the file name. Now, it downloads really fast. So I was sort of like, what? I hear a noise on the roof. Somebody must be trying to adjust the antenna. And we have a lot of trouble with the wind and a tree limb that keeps moving the antenna, TV antenna. Yeah, those SHA 256 will probably be fine. These look a lot different than, and see, there's two things. Honestly, I don't completely understand it all. I think I left dots in that other file name. Now, if you're saving an HTML page, well, these usually they end up being saved in a text file. But if you're saving an HTML page and there's images and stuff on it, then you can't rename it after you save it. It will mess. Nothing will work anymore. But these you could. So I still haven't closed this. Yeah, see how it's all broken up? That's because I left some dots in the file name. Because it's, your file managers are going to take you, sometimes they'll take your last dot and make it the file extension, and sometimes it might take the first dot. Don't rename the one that you're downloading, though. But I didn't. I downloaded the one that I already downloaded. See, now it's okay. There's no file extension on this one. That's probably the other reason why I did that. And I don't alter that part. Just leave it as it is, and it'll be fine. But now I'm seeding. I've already downloaded it, and now there's one peer connected downloading it for me. And these others, none of them are seeding. Wait, any of them? And I set a goal, like once I reach whatever their representation is, 2.0, it stops seeding. So some of them aren't even trying to seed. Well, those, no data found. Oh, something's gone. Well, I must have renamed the folders or something. need to go back and tell the program where all those are. I probably rename the folders. I do that sometimes. Get it all. Think I have it all set up, and then say, "Oh, I don't like it that way." Yeah, I did, because they were all the other day. They weren't in folders. They were just in the main folder. Let's go back and look. Yeah, see, that's. I mean, everything seems to be working okay, but I don't like looking at it doing that. I'm going to close it right now. Maybe I won't have to keep. Thing is, that Crusader is an integral part of everything I do. That's enough sums. The thing is Debian's a little different than Fedora. And I don't do this. It's been, I mean, recently I've been downloading some images, but it's been at least a year since I really downloaded and messed with any new Fedora distros, or I mean Linux distros. Coughing's coming back. This time, throat's feeling raspy, like maybe I've already talked too long for my throat today. So I guess I'll get a cough drop again. It's been way over an hour since I had one. I don't like to, these things kind of, well, they'll burn your mouth, make your mouth burnt in the roof of your mouth if you get too many of them. I've done it before. So, I want to check my stream right now. Make sure everything's all right with it. While I'm getting my cough drop going here. Maybe I'll stop coughing so much. Oh yeah, I can hear myself smacking. You don't realize how well the mic picks that up. I don't realize. Okay, thing stuck to my tooth, between my tooth and my cheek, and I couldn't get it off of there. Okay, so that's one way, using the now I'm going to go ahead and download the i386 version. I'm using my thumb on the keyboard. Hold down Control and click on the. This is a quick way to get things to open up in another tab in Firefox. I haven't been to this one. I'm going to put it in my. There it is. Sometimes Firefox will know. It'll remember where I've been recently. Sometimes I got to go through all this to find it. Now, okay, there's a lot in this i386 directory. There's Cinnamon, Genome, KDE, LXDE, Mate, and there's even the packages by themselves, and I don't know. I don't know what the log file is for. .log. But I'm gonna do the same thing. Hold down Control. Now see, it says. And sometimes it comes up some weird app, well, Archive Manager. But you always want to save your file. You don't want to open it with something unless you were doing BitTorrent. Then I might have wanted to do that. Didn't say transmission though. I don't know what it said. I wasn't paying much attention. Can say do this automatically, but sometimes you don't always want to do the same thing. For instance, I might want to. Well, with ISOs I do. I'm gonna tell it to do it automatically. So now it's downloading with the normal, for Firefox built-in download manager. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one's some, and I'll do the same thing. Oh, I accidentally clicked on it. Maybe it didn't take. Finger jumps sometimes. Then a right click, copy. Just to get the name, that's all I'm doing. I don't know if I have. I know I have apps that'll do MD5s and 256 sums. 512 sums, I'm not so sure I can even deal with them. Okay, yeah, that's the download. See, it's. I did start it again. Look at that. I'm going to stop that second one. There we go. I started again and it didn't bring up anything. Because I told it to always do that. That'll just make. I mean, I don't have any use for two of them, and that'll just make it slower too. All right. Save page as. And this time I'll try to do a little bit better at getting rid of the extra dots in there. That way I know which one I downloaded it for. If I do it that way, it doesn't actually matter. It may with the bank. I mean, as far as organization and being able to figure out what you got going on, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean. I used to have a GUI app that I could just plug in the sum files, the signatures, and the ISO, and it would tell me whether or not they matched and everything was okay. But I didn't have anything like that on this Fedora 23 system. Still working. And so I went ahead, and that was during while I was taking my break. I went ahead and downloaded looked and downloaded a couple of apps, and I'll just go ahead and close that page now. And here's the. I'll go into. Well, I'll go into this in a minute. Oh, let's go ahead. I'm having more trouble talking again. Here's the page, verifying the authenticity of the CDs or the ISO images. And I'm not going to try to read it, but I'm just not making heads or tails of how to actually use this information. With it tells you, you get down in here and it tells you about this page. But they're giving you the long, complicated explanation is what they're doing, instead of just telling you the quick commands to run. Like, and when I get to Fedora, putting it on the USB stick, I'll show you the difference. Show you, there's a simple. They tell you to do it in the command line with them too, but they tell you a quick command to run, and it checks it for you right there in the terminal window. It's actually so easy that I just have to save. I saved that page with the commands. It's actually so easy that I just do it that way. That's how come I don't have any GUI apps on it. I didn't. And I'll show you with the other images that I have. Sometimes now the heater's coming on, but it's getting a little too warm in here for me, and that'll make me cough. Hang on. All right. Sorry. Now, okay, so I downloaded these two apps, GTK Hash and GHasher, and Do you have? Well, let me open this one where you can see the whole thing. It really took a minute to kind of figure out what to do with this thing. This is the one that I decided to try and compare and see what you do. It defaults like this. So I said, okay, I'll put this one in here. And I'd hit the hash key down here, and it gave me the MD5 SHA and 256. I don't know. I think what you do there is copy. I thought maybe you copy a key kind of like this in there, and it would tell you if it matches, but I couldn't find one. In the stuff I had downloaded. So all you've done is it's calculated those, but you still haven't got it compared to the one they gave you to compare it to. And then if you go to text, it doesn't change anything. Oh yeah, it does. Oh, I guess you could put, instead of putting the file, you'd put it changes the letters and everything, it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. I've forgotten. It's been too long. Then on this one, you can add a whole list of files if you want. And that's what I did. Still, it doesn't compare them for you. It just gives you the sums. Now, I can't look at a long number and compare it. Now, let's say I had the MD5. So, let's see. MD5 sums, okay. So what have I got here? 940. See, I put something on some of them to separate them because I started realizing they had the same names for different. I just watched it go from 76 to 77 degrees and the heater's still running. Let me go open my window. Sorry. Can't win for losing with my allergies today. Darn it. Okay. Oh, I hate that when the heater runs like that. It gets so hot in here, and it can be chilly in the living room and hot in here. You'd think sitting at a computer and talking a simple thing like that would be easy, but sometimes it's not. Okay, so yeah, 940. Well, I didn't put enough information. Oh, AMD 64. Okay, but you see, this one that I highlighted, it ends in DB6. Well, none of those match. And I think that what it is this app, the way I did it, I probably did it wrong. It calculated those sums for each one of those files. thought it was going to be all right this time. Calculated the sums for each one of those files. It didn't compare, this one to this one or that one. And see, is that done? Well, it's still seeding. I mean, that's okay if it does that. I just got to kind of watch, make sure I don't mess up my machine running too much stuff. But I think, well, if I go, I have to open up Crusader again. Well, let's go look at, but before I do that, let's open up this one. Same file, and I used what I downloaded was an MD5 sum, so that's all. You can select different ones in there, but this one's a little older. It doesn't have SH82 and 3 in there. So MD5, and that's the same. Looks like. I mean, I'm just going by the last few numbers. Kind of, they look the same. Of course, you need to know for sure, so that's why you want an app to do that for you. There's another one that would just you could just give it 2 files and it would tell you. I don't know what the name of it was. I couldn't find it. Other application. But you could go open up. I don't think you can do it from within these apps, but yeah, you can't say open or anything. So if I go to the where those files actually are and open them up, hang on. Oh man. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Crusader and then open up those files in a text viewer. I guess let's see. Well, that's my new downloads. So we'll go to my backup drive where I put them all. I can't believe I just can't even talk. It's really starting to make me mad. Especially since I was just fine until I started this video. Same thing with the other one. I'm still having so much trouble I can't do anything. Okay, let's look in here. What am I? Yeah, domain 9, right? by extension so I can figure out what's what. Okay. Now, this one might be one of the ones you can see the... Yeah, here they are. See, it has net install, XFCE, and AMD64. What's the difference in those? Oh, that one says Debian Mac. Does that mean it runs on a Macintosh machine? I think this one, I'm going to copy it. Actually, let's do this. Move it over to that same window. Maybe we can at least kind of eyeball it a little bit. It ends in 117 DB6. Yep, 117 DB6. Where's the other one? Oh, that's the sum file. So, what do we want? AMD64 XFCE. Oops, now you can't see the others. Okay, so 117 DB6. So, see, there you go. It's good, I'm sure. I couldn't even try to read that whole number and compare. I mean, I can almost... They look very similar to me, kind of looking at them in a wide view. So I imagine, I'm sure they're fine. But I like to use either the commands in the terminal, like with Fedora. They're simple. I just copy and paste them. Or I really liked this app I have. I have on my Fedora 14 system, where you can plug in the ISO and the checksum file, and they'll compare them for you and tell you if it matches or not. But anyway, there you go. That's how they're that's how it works on a. That's the concept. I know I'm doing a terrible job because I can't even talk one sentence without coughing. I don't even know what I could do. My cough drop seems to really just make it work. They're not actually called cough drops. They're really good. Oh, it's cough suppressant. Ricola. It's not a D. But natural honey lemon with echinacea. They work really well most of the time. But what I got is, it's not a regular cough. Well, it's two things. I got, and the throat itches so bad, like it is irritated or something. I guess like allergy. And drainage is so bad that it's, making me just constantly cough. It got so hot a while ago, it was making me worse. And it's still 77.2 in here, even though I opened the window. I do feel a little bit of fresh air coming in. I didn't open it all the way. The sun came up and hit the window, and it warmed the room up. Oh, real quick. And then when the heater came on top of that, I think that's what did me in. But yeah, so that's enough of that. I'm gonna close all these MD5 apps and everything. And here it tells you how it's giving you how they want you to do it. Let me go back and whoops. Now after after I'm kind of done messing with these, I'll move them to my backup drive. But I'll leave them where they are now. But yeah, I want to close consider again. I've noticed it's. I don't know. I don't think it always does it. I think it's just something's going on with it today. Something, some kind of process that. After I reboot, it'll probably quit doing that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Stuff like that happens. You don't know why. But if you if you shut everything down and reboot, it'll quit doing it. With some certain apps, especially Crusader. That's why I keep this system monitor open all the time so I can see what's going on, especially when I'm doing something like this, making videos and stuff. So maybe if you were doing this, you could read through all this and figure out. They're kind of leaving it as if you know what's going on. To me, how to do this. It tells you to use right here. Use these two apps. I mean, you should use one of those two tools. Well, they're not available in Fedora repos. So that's what I'm on here, downloading on. So I can, well, that laptop's Debian, but it might be in there or available in there, but I didn't go look. Figured I could do it in the GUI, that's why I went and downloaded those apps. And if you click on this link telling you about, if I'd read it, if I could talk long enough, it starts going into the Debian public key server, and it's got a bunch of, you don't use that key, you replace it with the one you have and all that stuff. So it's all really manual, but it tells you a bunch of information about how to do it. But it's all, I'd say it's a learning curve for me. So usually I can find a way, especially, well, it's a lot harder now to find a way around this stuff. This command line stuff with the GUI apps, because a lot of them aren't available anymore. Used to, I could do pretty much anything in the GUI app. I started learning that way back in Windows, and when I got into Linux in 2005, I just transferred that way of thinking, and I found ways around everything in GUI. Sometimes it took a while to get it figured out, but then once you get it figured out, it made everything so much quicker and easier. So, anyway, you should check them, because there's been once or twice where I actually got an infected file from a Linux server or some sort of Linux app or something, or actually it was an ISO. I can't remember where I got it. Might have been the bank. One time, once it happened to me. I went and checked that. Can't remember if the MD5 back then, they didn't have all the newer SHA stuff. Can't remember if they matched or not now. And I had gotten it early on before they had, if I remember right, they did come out and say, yeah, that happened, and they fixed all that. They redid the way they were allowing people to upload, and access their FTP server and stuff. I'm not talking about downloads, but uploads. Somebody had uploaded something malicious to their download server. So, got those two. Yeah, I wouldn't want to start building a brand new machine and then find out that, well, number one, it's not just malicious stuff, and that would be the worst. But the other thing is if your download was was failed somehow. You know, it wasn't complete, or the data got corrupted somehow. That'll, you know, if those sums don't end up matching, then the data is not the same as what was on the server, what they intended it to be. And so you'll have something's going to be wrong. You know, maybe your install will fail, or your system will install but it won't run right, something like that. It's not all just it's not all just about, you know, malicious people. It can be computer, you know, machine failures and stuff. So it is something worth learning how to do. And I'm going to go ahead and, you know, before I actually install anything, I will be checking mine for sure. So these new ones that I just got, I'm going to close that because I keep clicking on it just out of habit of seeing something there, and I click on it. It's still running. Let's look at it again, make sure. Yeah, it's seeding, so that, because I'm going to try that. This app will stay running in the background. So, oh, my ears, liquid in, it's popping. Reload. I'm going to check my stream. Been a while since I've checked it. I'm coughing and going nuts. Okay, there's two ways you can download, and finish checking my stream here. Okay, yeah, that's all good. I think I will close. Oh, now I've been down to 0, and now I'm going to positive 2 minutes and 3 minutes. That's crazy. That's talk about bugs. I know it must be the most amazing amount of work to maintain a big website like YouTube. So something they did messed up their counter big time. I guess it's, instead of being set to 0, it's set to -1 hour. Either that or there's some settings in there that, but I didn't change any settings. Can't imagine why you'd want to do something like that on purpose. So, now, I'm going to close the web browser because I think I've done enough coughing and talking about that. But that's a live image, and that's before I booted to an install image. Oh, there is one other thing I was wondering about. I'm going to go back one to Bane on CDs. Let's see. It's actually a page I haven't been to. Well, I won't go into that since I can't even talk right now. I won't, you know, I don't know what that says because I haven't read it. So I can't try to even try to, you know, break it down or anything. So I'm going to open up Virtual Box like I did before, and I'm going to put it in my Linux test VM. The one that I just downloaded here. This is where I'm going to put them all, but right now they're just in the downloads folder. Where's the other one? I hope I didn't close it. That's the 386 one. Let me go see before I even boot that up. That was a hot rod video, and they were having a, what do you call it, a show, hot rod show, custom car hot rod show. There's the torrent. Oh, the torrent may have downloaded. Yeah, I did the other one with the torrent. I think it may have downloaded it to my backup drive. I think I set it to do that. Open folder. Just do it, and I'll just do it with the other file manager. Oh, it went to Crusader. Lucky. Now I got Crusader open twice. Oh, it put it straight into the downloads folder on my backup drive. I did that so that I didn't want it filling up my my drive. There it is, right there. But close that one. Too many of them open. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. Well, I'll show you how you do it. Say that's not where I want it. It's finished and it's seating. So right click on it and say set location. Now now I'm going to leave it like that. Move from the current folder. Go to other. I'm already in the downloads. I just want to get to right here. Domain 9. Yeah, that's all I need to do. I thought I was going to have to make a folder, but that folder that's what I want. Now it'll move it. And it won't interrupt the seating or anything. These others, evidently I renamed those folders after doing that. But it won't be there anymore. It will be I spelled Linux wrong. I was using my keyboard. I always do that, and I don't think to explain. I'm so used to doing it. There's Debian Live Mate AMD64, and then there's the other one, i386. So, wait. Oh, that's the firmware. That's something I didn't remember to talk about. There is actually a version of Debian you can download, and I downloaded it. I'm going to have to look at that. I guess it's bootable. And well, maybe it is. That has firmware that's not considered complete open source. It's proprietary or not free, as they say. And I may need that on my. I just noticed today my Dell 6000 laptop, the Wi-Fi is not even working. I think I already tried to find a driver for it and couldn't find it. So maybe if I upgrade to the Debian 9 or find that Debian 8, firmware, you can download it like that and install that way, or you can download it somewhere. I downloaded. I thought I downloaded the tar.gz file of it, and then you have to unzip it and do all this stuff with it. But maybe I didn't download it. I think I didn't. I want to check into that. I want to see what that. Right now I won't do it, but I will in a minute. So let's see. Now that's the only one that's in BitTorrent. So if I go to downloads, I've already done this. I'm going to change this one right because I want to have them in the. Yeah, there's the last one I had. Let's just go back to the drive here, the Seagate drive. I don't look through lists good, but if I start typing, I can find it. Okay. No, what I really wanted to try was that one anyway, so that one right there. So I'll put that one in the virtual machine. But I want to move these ones that are just in my plain downloads folder over there. Got all those checksums and everything too. Let's see. Oh, that torrent, yeah, I want to put it over there too. Normally I would say copy and then move in case I have a problem, but I've been having pretty good luck with. I always cringe when I do that. As soon as you click move, then something goes wrong. You lose all those files. They get broken. So I should have had copy and then just hit copy and then go back and delete the originals. Ones you don't, delete them out of the directory you don't want. One good thing about digital data, you don't have to worry about degradation like you did with. You always want to keep the original with analog stuff, analog audio and video and all that stuff. On tape and stuff like that. But digital on computers, you don't have to worry about that. But you do need to worry about the checksums to find out if it is a real copy of the original. That's what those are for. You can do that with your own files. I'm going to let it finish because I should have just copied and then I could have went on and not worried. But that and I don't want Crusader working. See how hard it's working. It's not too bad. I don't want it working while I'm opening up a virtual machine. I'm going to have to close Crusader. It's getting there. Okay. Yeah, we're done. Okay. Now everything's over there where I'm going to want it to be. Now let's boot up this virtual machine with somebody's out there scraping the cement with a shovel, cleaning something up or doing something. All right, now this one is defaulted to the top one is where I'm going to want it, but I'm going to look and see with local installation support, graphical with Debian installer, so you can go straight to the installers if you want. Local installation would be like not requiring the internet. You have everything you need on your local drive. But I'm just going to boot to live. Hit enter. I was using my keyboard keys and hit enter to get it going. And these messages about your keyboard capture and your mouse and everything always come up. And so, in the newer distros, they almost always just everything's automatic. If you click inside the window, it'll be captured by the virtual machine. If you click out, it'll go back to your host machine. Some of them you have to hit keyboard, keyboard shortcuts to uncapture and uncapture them. Usually it's to uncapture them to get it back out of there. Super space is now the default hotkey. Okay. I don't know what super space is. That's something on a keyboard on a laptop, isn't it? I think that's something that's on a laptop. I don't know why I did that. Well, this is just a live OS, so don't worry about it. But this is a made desktop. And see, didn't boot up to a really very large resolution, but that's all right for just testing it out. You don't really want to use up more resources on my machine anyway. It's not doing as bad as Fedora was. See, it's using I need 53 megabyte memory. Fedora was using over a gig and something. So this is the same desktop that I'm using here on my host machine. Could go, let's see, Control F will make it full screen, and that'll take it back out. Of course, you're just going to have black, but that way you don't see all the menus from my machine. And I could, I don't know, you'd probably have to do it in the Virtual Box to get it to be any bigger, but that's big enough for this test. Just run through the menus here. Oh, graphics, LibreOffice Draw, it's in there instead of an it's probably in the Office thing too. Firefox ESR, that's what's on my laptop. Debian 8, it won't update. It's on both of my laptops, and it says IP address error like this. It may not be supported anymore for Debian 8. Yeah, there's all the LibreOffice. This is pretty basic. It doesn't have much. I don't know. I had a lot more in that Debian, and I did the Debian 8. A lot more apps without me having to go install them separately. I had pretty much all I needed for Mom. Unless I ran a script on there to install stuff and I don't remember it. I could have found a group install. I think I do remember looking up and finding group installs for Debian. I might have done something like that, just don't remember doing it. The Synaptics, the package manager for Debian. I like it. I actually used to use it back in the earlier days. Say earlier, not in the beginning of Linux, but my earlier days too. I discovered how to install Debian packages on Fedora, and you can still do it, but they usually don't run too good. And there's not a lot of need for it now. There's so much. Back then, well, I didn't really know the difference. I just thought, I want those, and I want them on this machine. So, and I used Synaptic Package Manager as my package manager on my Fedora systems all the way up to Fedora. I think I had to switch in around Fedora 12 or something because it wouldn't work anymore. It wouldn't work right anymore, but it used to work perfectly. And it has some features like fix broken packages that I just love. So, well, anyway, that's what you got there for Debian. It says EN up there. Like, I don't really need to know what language I'm in. If I can't read it, then it's in the wrong language. Pretty simple. So I did figure out how to, where's that? Right click, preferences. I don't know how I missed it, but right there's how you change it to 4-hour clock, 12-hour clock, 4-hour clock. And my mom's, I'd forgotten to do it. And then there's where you add your, and there's Fort Worth is the closest one to me. There's several ones to choose from. So what is it? I can't remember where that Sphinx Airport is. I think it's actually closer to me than any of the others. And I can't stand the weird temperatures. This is America here, people. Fahrenheit and miles per hour. That's how we live. Fast. Okay. So, see, where's the weather? It didn't come up, but usually the weather will come up. Preferences. Show icon on system tray. Pre-edit text. Well, I don't want an icon on the system tray. English. That's kind of cool that it's right there, though. If you were wanting to switch languages, I won't mess with anything else. Sometimes the weather works, sometimes it doesn't when you turn it on like that. It might work. It probably would work after a reboot if this weren't a live system. But let's try the killer test here for virtual machines. Let's get out of the full screen so that if I have any trouble, I can close it by just hitting that X up there. So far, all the Fedora distros I tried brought my virtual box to a screaming halt because I don't have but a gig of memory and 32 megabyte of video memory set up in it. Oh, that worked. That's what page that wouldn't ever come up. So that's my music website right there. Of course, that's I just when I can't think of what to search, I just do that. That's right here on my server in my room. It should come in fast, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That is so much less resources. It runs like a normal machine. Of course, you could let's see if you can do. Let's see if you can change the display. See, it's on 1024 by 768. Yeah, you can. In order to be able to do that, it should be 60 hertz, not 61. I would think. That's what I set everything on. In order to do that, I think I'd have to set it up. This particular one, I don't know why I did it because it's the same exact virtual machine, but and I just changed the ISO that I boot to. So I don't know why it's doing that, like that, and then I just hit the home button. Doing it that way. Just click on something just to go somewhere else. It was almost it was as big as it could get in Fedora. It was it would go the full resolution, and I guess that's one reason why it was overpowering my machine too. Excuse me. Suddenly I'm having hiccup burps. That's the Fedora Firefox add-on page. Okay, so that works good. Now, I think they always use this very similar background, and this one is ugly color to me. The other one is, it's kind of a, you know what? I think that's teal on the laptop. I didn't ever know what all that teal or mauve and gray was. There was the rage in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was like, that's blue-green, like teal. That's blue-green is what it is. But so anyway, the girls just, they had to use those words. They couldn't say the real colors of anything. Mauve, what is mauve? I think it's Pepto-Bismol pink. That's what I called it. And gray is, well, of course, that's gray. That one, I knew what it was. What is that? Text editor? Oh, there's something about the keyboard up there. Oh, I see. That's what that's for. It's for the keyboard. Well, yeah. I actually thought it was a display text, but that's the keyboard settings that I changed a while ago. That's better to look at than that big old EN. Oh, that's virtual keyboard. How do we get a virtual keyboard? What in the world? That's what I just opened up. Well, what do you do with it? I don't know, but I'm going to exit it now. I guess if you wanted that big EN back, you'd have to find where those settings are that I messed with, because now it's all gone. Or you could reboot since it's well, at least even though it's still 77.2 in here, the cool air is circulating, and I feel a lot better. Matter of fact, I think it's helping my cough. Sometimes you think you're coughing because the window's open, close the window, and then it gets too hot, and the heater blows. Well, it may actually be blowing dust. I think we really have a problem with our air conditioner ducts. I think they're the good old solid metal ones that last forever, but they also I did a little air conditioning work back in the 80s, and you're not supposed to put screws in the duct because it catches dust, or at least, well, if you do, you don't put more than like 3 per joint or something. And so what they would do is just not put any and just put duct tape on them to hold them together. Well, this house was built in the early 60s, so since then till now, you think that duct tape's anything left of it? And as a matter of fact, one of our joints fell apart. The one going from the main trunk line, I'll say, to my bedroom and my mom's. And I didn't know it, but it had been just laying there. It was just blowing air at the Y, going to each room for over a year. I don't know why. I figured out it was over a year because our rooms were cold in the winter and hot in the summer for over a year. When I finally found it and put it back together, it was fantastic. So there's no telling. It's all wrapped in insulation, but this spot had actually broken apart, and you could, tore the insulation apart, and you could see it. But the rest of it, I've looked at it, and I can't really get up there anymore. That was quite a few years ago now. And I'm afraid that they're all just, their joints are loose, and it's just sucking the dust. See, when the air goes by fast and hard like that, we actually had a new air conditioner. It's this whole new air conditioner, inside and out, put in, not the duct, but the inside unit and the outside unit, and a couple of years ago. And I helped do that. It's a neighbor that did it, and he's an air conditioning company, but it has a really strong fan, and so anyway, when air's blowing down a pipe, if there's a hole in it or a crack in it, it's going to pull a vacuum on that crack or that hole, and so it's going to be sucking dust in. That's my point. Okay, I'm going to shut this down. Now that's how it's supposed to shut out. There's so many. See, being lightweight makes such a difference. It's system-wise. I'm not talking about fat people like me. Yeah, that makes a difference too. Actually, I'm not as fat. I was way fatter when I was younger than I am now. At a certain point, when I was really young, I was skinny. But anyway, that's another sidetrack. Okay, I just ran the 64-bit. Let's try the 386. Yeah, let's see what it looks like. It should look the same. Start it up. I was expecting it to start up. Wait, that's the fastest boot I've ever seen on anything, ever. That's crazy. They must have really worked on that. I think this may be leaner than Debian 8. I'm kind of thinking I want to try it on these laptops. Well, you know what? I think that would run just wonderfully on Mom's machine. The only thing I'd have a little hesitation about is I love that. Well, there it is right there. Let me get over here. Oh, I can show it. No, wait till this boots up. Yeah, look at that. I don't know what that means. I want to try taking a screenshot. Oh, it did it in the live. It did a screenshot in the live. I want one in my system. You go over in a different spot, come back and it'll do it. Click in a different workspace. It should. Yeah, there it goes. Go ahead and close the app so we'll be using up anything. Oh, there's that EN again. So, about iBus. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So I won't mess with it this time. I never saw that before in any, well, maybe, you know what, maybe it is in some of the other Debian distros. I wouldn't expect this to run any faster in the Virtual Box than the other one. But it runs good. So if you got gig of memory and 32 megabytes of video memory, this would run great. whatever machine you got. Then, of course, 386. Not a 386, 686 and up. From what I understand, what I was reading earlier there. Oh, there's the iBus right there. Preferences. What? SCIM input method. Smart Common Input Method Platform. What will they think of next? So this would run good, but here's the thing. Okay, let's get back on my machine. See right there, SC Linux AVC denial. Security Linux, that's what that is. It comes in every Fedora distro from when I started in 2005 with Fedora 5. And as this is system, it didn't used to do this, but as it became outdated and not getting updates anymore, I think it's just like well, I would say a bug, but I don't know. But anyway, it's the source process fprintd attempts to this access wake alarm. Now, that's something to do with printing, I know that, but I'm not trying to print anything. Well, there's more than one kind of printing. There's like in the terminal window, you can print. The original use of the word print in computers was around before there were any printers, paper printers. But anyway, so it doesn't mean necessarily, I don't think it at all means anything's trying to be printed. I don't think there's, first I thought, oh no, maybe there's malware got onto my computer, but this has been going on forever. And, well, that doesn't mean anything, of course, in itself, but I kind of looked into it a while back. And it, like I said, it didn't start until, well, he could say it didn't start until it, that's why I thought it didn't start until it stopped getting updates. Oh no, I've gotten broken into, But anyway, you can, you could allow it if you want by using these commands, but it's not hurting anything. And actually that always comes up when I log in as root to get, use the package manager. So it was something I'm doing, that brings it on. And just to be sure that if there was some kind of malware in it, I'm not going to allow it. It's been stopped by SC Linux, so I'm not going to allow it. But you could go on and try. I think I did some research, and all I remember now is I'm not worried about it anymore. Let's see. Yeah, here's some details right here. Information. Yeah, a lot. Most of that right there, I don't know what it's talking about. But anyway, I guess this is the one. Yeah, I think this is the same one that'll come up every time I log in as with root root user privileges in order to install or uninstall an app or update the system or whatever. So that protects your system even when it gets old. Debian doesn't have a built-in security system. I guess they basically just rely on user permissions, but pretty much. That and, good secure design in the first place of this operating system, but I really feel like that Fedora is more secure because of the SC Linux than any of the other distros that don't run something like that. Now, it's the only one I know of. Of course, I don't know about. I've messed around with OpenSUSE, and actually, it might run. You might be able to run SC Linux on it. It's an RPM-based distro, but the others, I don't know. There may be some others. But I'm going to shut this one down now. Let's see if I remember how to do it. And so that's the one reason, that and just that I'm so much more familiar with Fedora and the operating, the back end of it. That's the only reason I even hesitate, to switch anything that we use all the time over to Bang. For my mom especially, because she doesn't have a clue about how to, what to watch out for. And really, it's always going to get, just because you think it's what you don't know that's going to get you always. Something you don't know that there's something hiding there. Even though you may know better than to click on something, you don't have to click on anything. You just go to a website, with all the drive-by malware and all that stuff. And they're always figuring out how to put malware into images, and just opening, just previewing your email can sometimes get you if you're vulnerable to that thing. And of course, most all of the malware is after Windows, but there is malware that goes after Linux and Unix and Mac. And there's a lot that goes after Mac now. They just don't want to admit it. But let's see. Okay, I tried that one. Firmware, there it is. Firmware net install. I want to see what that is. Let's just go ahead with the 64-bit. That one's an install. I booted that a while ago, or that one. Those are just install only. So now I can do it either way. I could look at the live system and install from there, or I could just use the installer. I didn't realize that. I think I didn't really realize. Well, no, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Okay. This i386 is 2.1 gigabyte. That's 1.1 of a gigabyte bigger than my SD card. Now this one probably wouldn't fit either. It's 2 gigabytes even, because all you got is usable space on that not SD card but USB stick is like 1.98 gigabytes. So either one of those probably wouldn't fit. Now I could burn them to a DVD, but I don't really want to waste a DVD on them, because usually you use them once and then you're done with them, So I'd rather use a reusable media. But I might, I'll look into it, but I might be able to put those, just simply copy those over to my easy to boot 32 gigabyte SD card, and they'll boot, but I don't think you can install from them. If you can, it'll be great. I'll just do it that way. But well, it doesn't really matter. Only difference is if you have, you could probably install without downloading anything from the internet with these two. But with these, it's going to be slower because they're going to have to download all the apps and everything from the internet. It's not that slow, but it would be slower. You'd notice a difference. I mean, instead of being maybe 10 or 15 minutes with these, it'd be 20, 30, 45 minutes with these. So now let's look at that firmware thing. I want to see what that's all about. I guess it's something that'll boot up. I think it's just going to be an installer. Let's try it. Yeah, graphic install, advanced options. Let's just look into them. Graphic expert, graphic rescue, graphic automated install, expert install, rescue mode, automated install. I've always wanted to try automated install. One of those old computers in the garage, I think I'll try that. I might try it with this. Got one that needs the operating system out there now. Got two of them actually, but one of them, the power supply needs, the plug is broke. I got to put a new plug in it, the female plug. But I'm just going to go back to graphic because it's more fun to look at the graphic installer than the plain one. But there it is. Oh yeah, and this is what this is just. It's not going to look any different than the one I went into. And I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to hit enter on the keyboard. But once you get here, then you've got to start, doing stuff. But the one thing about this, it could even be like I said, from my laptop, With desktops, I usually don't have any trouble with, not having the drivers that'll work on their hardware. But the laptops, like my Wi-Fi card, my Wi-Fi is not. It's not even showing up to the Wi-Fi manager on the Dell 6000 laptop. That tells me that I never installed the driver, and I probably tried and got tired of looking and couldn't find it. So I know I don't have anything on this virtual machine, so I'll just go through it. And of course, I always change my host name to. I'm going to put Virt on there so I'll know it's virtual. And then I'll click next. Now I'm not part of a domain. If you want to be part of your local Windows network, then you could put your Windows network name, that you use. If you're using, you can use Samba SMB networking to connect with Windows networks if you wanted to do that. But I'm not going to install this. I'm just going to kind of go through it a little bit. Root password and so on. And I'm going to quit right there. But you keep, there's just a few more of these little menus, and then you would, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to, it will take 10 or 20 minutes. So I'm not going to do it, but I'm tempted to just to show it. But I'd rather show it. I could set up and use TeamViewer and show a real install when I do it. But kind of getting tired on top of the wall. I'm getting not coughing as much, but I'm still coughing. Can go back, but you can't go. And if you go back, it takes you back to wherever you were. Well, there's the list. There's the list of everything that's going to be done. That's kind of interesting to see that. Yeah, see, there's more than I was thinking before you get to. You could abort from down there. Oh, you can. Oh, I see. I could do that. That's how you abort it in the software instead of just shut the machine down. I was saying earlier that I didn't know of any way to abort the installation. That's how you do it. But anyway, it's not super long with the Bang. So yeah, I'm gonna get out. Now see, it's gonna go back to. I think it'll just go back to a command prompt. No, it goes back to the greeting screen. Now I'm just gonna shut the machine down, power off the machine. That's like a hard shutdown, holding in the button in for 4 seconds if you have your machine set that way. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Let's see. So I don't have any more that I want to try out. I've already tried out Fedora, and yeah, what I'm going to do here is let's see. Okay, I know you want to see the games. We'll boot the Fedora games just to see what it looks like. And on this one, you don't want to run that test. If it won't boot, then the ISO's bad. But that'll test your ISO, self-test it. But you don't want to run it every time you boot up, for sure. But there's always that funny little error at the beginning on the virtual machine. There's always some funny little errors, even on the machines that run perfectly. At the very beginning there. I think that permission denied thing was just, now see how much bigger that just already boots up to the full screen. And if you hit, it would be full screen. It's the full window of what you got there in, available. And then if you hit full screen, it'll be absolute full screen. But like if I hit Control F and switch, now see, well, it's not absolute full screen. You got some space here at the bottom and top. I was thinking it was. Oh, and this is XSE, so it'll be lightweight. And see what games are in there. Let's see. Space Simulator, Child's Play, Planets. That's kind of fun. Planets, I've played with that. I don't know if I've messed with that Space Simulator. It's not just games. I'm not into games. I don't know really much about them. I've played around with a few here and there. There's one, Flight Simulator, that I like. It's not actually considered, they don't consider themselves to be a game. They consider it to be a flight simulator. We see it's quite a bit. All different styles of games. There we go. That Lynn City's pretty neat. It's kind of addicting. Years ago I messed with it. GL117. Neither one of those is the one I was thinking of. I think I actually have that one on my machine. I think. Maybe not. You do need 3D support to play a lot of these, and you probably won't have that from the open source driver that you get naturally from Fedora or Debian, and you might have to go install the proprietary driver, and that's a bit of a pain. And you might get that with that other Debian one that I was talking about. There are apps to help you do that. But once you get them on there, then when you get I don't know if it still is a problem, but I used to always do it, and then I would find myself never really playing a game. And then when you get a kernel update, sometimes it would break your whole GUI, and you'd have to go back and fix it, and it was a real pain when that happened. You never knew when it would happen. Sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. And there's actually some apps you can install to tell the kernel, so Kmod and Acmods. You can install those and tell it not to install the new kernel until those proprietary drivers are updated as well. Because what would happen is the kernel was updated, but the proprietary video driver hadn't been, and so it would be broken. When it wasn't the kernel update was bad, it was the proprietary driver was behind and wasn't compatible with the new kernel. And so I'm just going through these as a jabber. So, but it was a real pain when it would happen, and you would be just in the middle of a normal day working away, and then get apply some updates. I used to have mine be automatic updates, and maybe you reboot or something, and then the machine don't work. Black screen. Then you got to fix it. But I haven't had to do that in years. And part of it, I think, is because they've got that all worked out a little better, but part of it. And the other part is, and for sure I haven't had to do it because I haven't used, it's been 3 or 4 years since I've even used a proprietary video driver. NetHack. There's NetHack. There's 3 of them. I used to play a Windows game that was something about hacking, and you'd pretend to be a hacker, and you had to try to break into these virtual machines, in the game, and you had so much time, and you had to, and it would show you if you were being tracked, and if you got caught, then you lost and everything. It was really hard. I think everything has changed now. I don't think that's how you would do it anymore, but it was supposed to be like kind of pretty much how things worked back then, back in the early 2000s. Yeah, well, there's no point in opening up Firefox in here. I already tried that. But you see, if you like games, you can just install this and have a fully functional operating system with games. Used to, the early one, Fedora 19, was it 19? Yeah, I guess it was Fedora 19 that I have. I still have them on, because I burned them on DVDs. I have 2 versions of the older Fedora Gamer thing. And I mean, you could boot them. They were meant to be just live, and you just boot them up and play them right off the DVD, and they ran okay. One good thing about that is they don't get broken. If they work, they work. Oh yeah. So this is what shutting down with it in full mode. Then it'll just go away. So I'm gonna shut this virtual box down now. I haven't checked my stream in a while. Let's see. I will do that. Let me go ahead and open up. I didn't hear the phone ring, but I see the thing blinking at me saying there's a message. But I don't ever answer it anyway. It's never for me. All we get is calls from scammers and people trying to sell stuff. So we don't ever answer the phone. If somebody calls us and leaves a message and we want to talk to them, then we'll call them back. That blinking can really drive me crazy. See, those people need to go broke or go to jail. That we get that more. I ain't just once a day either. Sometimes you get 3 or 4 or 5 of them a day. They need to go to jail. Is what they need. All right, now. I don't know what you could hear of that, but clean your air ducts. Yeah, and just imagine I was talking about it, that I'm worried about ours, that I know because I've done the work, that they were, many of them, for many years, were installed with just duct tape to hold them together. And the flex duct would be the same thing. And it definitely don't screw them together. It would just tear them up. If you ran those cleaner, I've seen the commercials on TV for years. Some of them have a brush that'll go up in there and spin. Well, that would just completely break loose anything that was still together. It would break it loose. You'd have your ductwork falling apart all over the place. And without the little spinning brush, then you're not going to get that dust any looser than just running the air conditioner fan through it, And if there's that much in there, inside the duct, if the duct works intact and there's no leaks, if any dust that can't be blown loose by the air blowing through there is not going to get vacuumed out by a vacuum. If it was that strong and you had flex duct, it would suck it up. It would. Have you ever put your hand over the end of the vacuum? What does it do to that hose? It contracts it and puts it in. I've seen it. I used to play with it as a kid. It put it in a knot. That's what it'd do to your air conditioning duct if it was flex duct. If it's metal, and it was holding together, then well. Any dust that's not been already blown through by the fan, it's not going to get very much. It'd have to be an awfully strong vacuum to the point that it would be tearing things up. That's what I'm trying to say. So, no, I wouldn't be wanting the air duct cleaning. And I've seen shows where they warned you not to do it, that it was pretty much just all a scam anyway. Back then I was like, well, I don't know, it might be helpful, but now, the more I think about it, the more I don't want it. I started thinking about the actual mechanics of it all. So, I'm checking my stream. I can barely do one thing at once, much less try to do more 2 things at once. Okay, that's what I was just talking about. Oh, okay, it caught up. Oh, well, I didn't have the browser open. That's what's taking me so long. I didn't have the browser open, and I had to open it up. Okay, so I'm at 54 minutes, so I guess that actually means I'm at 2 hours and 54 minutes because it starts at -1 hour. Okay, that's really fun to figure out. Okay. There's a couple of ways to set up a USB stick. Whoops. Let's see. I've been doing Debian mostly, so I'll do Debian right now. So I've got my USB stick. Oh man, hang. I've already lost one of these. I hit my my lapel mic. I'm wearing it even though I'm not using it because sometimes I want to get up, and go somewhere and still be able to talk. And let me do that right now. Okay, I'm gonna move my. Oh yeah, well you can listen to the dog bark with me then. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go over here to my camera. Purposely not talking so you won't have that terrible echo. Okay, now I'm on my wireless mic, and what happened was I moved just a little, and my lapel rubbed against my windscreen on my SM58, and it pulled the little. I better not roll over it. Where is it? There it is, and I was just about to roll over it. Did I roll over it? There, I just stopped. I mean, my wheel was just fixing to go over it. Okay, so my little windscreen, it actually came with two, and I lost. The other one was really, really loose, and it just kept falling off. Finally, one day it fell, and I never saw where it went. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I have another one. In order to put this back on, I've got to, I got to switch mics. Okay, now we should be back on the 58. Sounds a lot better anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get this out where I can see it. But it just took it off in one sweep there. I'm about to drop it again. It's all black and I can't even see where. There we go. I know I can't, and you're not seeing what I'm doing, but I mean, everybody knows how to do stuff like that, right? It is a little, I mean, you kind of have to, this one's nice and tight, so it's the first time it's even came off and it was drug off by, I mean, this is pretty, oh, don't touch your mic. It just pulled it right off because they're both the same kind of material, that foam stuff. Okay, now, but yeah, I don't know when I'm going to ever run it. I know it's somewhere, the one that fell off. Of course, it wasn't staying on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is switch to the lapel while I do this. All right, I have my USB stick, and it says Debian 8, but this is going to be Debian 9. I'll have to erase that. You can actually erase. You can actually, of course, now I'll start coughing. Erase marker off of this thing. Heck, it rubs off from your fingers. One side is already rubbed off because that's the way I've been holding it. But I'm going to put this in my USB here. And let's get back to the other mic. All right, yeah, we're back. Okay, I'm going to go to the desktop and make sure that we're good on our stream. I keep thinking that we should catch up if I would give it enough time like it used to. I mean, instead of me having to reload it every time. It sure doesn't look like it. If it will, it take forever. If there's any settings to change that, I'd sure like to know how. That was just perfect before. I mean, it was just like under 10 seconds, and it would just catch up to where you were. So all you had to do is hit pause and play, you know. Now, it just doesn't seem like it's ever going to catch up, and you got to hit. you gotta hit reload, and then you gotta turn the audio back on, and and then it debugs you, so then you gotta turn it off, and I accidentally clicked somewhere in the video, and it went. Oh, now I've got it all messed up. I tried to pull it forward. It's doing all kinds of crazy things. I didn't know it would do any of that. Reload it before something really gets messed up. Somehow I actually clicked on the little red line on the video, and it went back, like a long time back. And then I tried to pull it forward, and then it brought up a big wide red bar, and was seeing a bunch of looked like film, little frame previews, I guess. And okay, now I can see. Then I can see that I'm in the right place, and I can hear myself. All right, that's what I needed. Okay, so right here on my desktop, whenever I put my USB stick in there, I get 2 GB volume and a U3 system, and that's a little tiny partition, like 64 megabytes, with some Windows apps that I can't delete. It won't let what's it called? Whatever the brand is, SanDisk. SanDisk USB stick. It won't let you delete it no matter what. I didn't ever see anything you couldn't reformat completely, but you can't this thing. So you're losing 64 whole megabytes of usable space for those silly Windows apps they're so old now they wouldn't run on anything anyway. But the stickers it's still great. They still work. They're when I got them, they weren't the newest models, I could wait until they were down in price. Hang on. So they really have been, they've been work good, last a long time. So that's good. But anyway, what I want to do is first let's go look and see what the files are like on that thing. So I'll go over here. There it is. You see 1.9 gigabytes. That's all you actually get. Oh, I might have some documents I need to back up on that thing. A couple. Before I reformat it or anything, yeah, I've got some stuff there. So I'm gonna make those the same. Yeah, I do that a lot. I put files on there. Tools, that's one of them. That's one of the files right there. That's probably on that little partition I was talking about. And then live, see, this is Linux stuff. That was Debian 8, I believe. Oddly enough, though, looky there, setup, execute. That Debian actually uses that, a setup execute file, instead of some other familiar Linux thing. I'm pretty sure that is not a, if I remember right, that's not, part of the USB stick. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get back over here on my drive and Debian 8 and Dell 1525. Okay, so what I'll do is go to Documents. A lot of times, there we go, Debian 8 info. A lot of times I'll make myself little notes, And since it's just those files, well, let's say copy. I don't think they're going to be there. No. Oh, it's already there. That one's already there. Okay. So I must have already done this at some point. Now this other thing, those are screenshots. Okay, pictures. See what they are right quick. But this was from the live system, I believe. Oh, speed tests that I did. Oh, okay. Oh, this is speed tests that I did out in the garage. They're very... No? Yeah, they are. Well, the download... I'm not sure what I was doing, but that upload speed is really, really slow. But that's too fast to have been out in the garage because my Wi-Fi is not that fast out there. I'm using a router as a Wi-Fi repeater to go to the wired machines out there. So I don't know what I was doing now. I can't remember. But I'm going to say right-click, synchronize. I only go one way this time. I think it's already been done. Yep, they're already there. Okay, that way, when I got a bunch of files like that, I just do it that way. Okay, so I don't have to worry about anything else that's on here. What you can do, just put that. I don't want to stay on that backup drive in case I accidentally delete something. Now you don't have to reformat every time you put a new system on one of these. Oh, Win Helper. Let's see what else is on there. I know what that is. That's to help that's to make my easy to boot. You stick this in there on the machine, this USB stick on the machine, and the easy to boot drive that I have there. Well, it's a SD card and a USB adapter. And that will make it boot right to install Windows systems. I think that's the only file you need. But see, I want to go ahead and leave that. Win32 loader, I don't think I need that. Oh, I'm going to look at it and see if it has anything to do with easy to boot. No, that's to do with Linux. That's for Debian. Okay. That is a pretty simple. Oh, there's nothing in it. But you have to have the file, and I think it gets written to, yeah, it's an empty file, but it gets written to during the boot or something. Okay, vague memories here. Now, I could leave my documents folder, but what happens, but since I'd already backed all that up, I'm not going to leave them, I'm going to delete them. But what will happen is the documents folder will get put back by that system I was talking about. It won't be gone. It'll just be empty. A U3 system will put it back, but it'll be an empty folder. So, yeah, the only thing I want, you don't want to ever, I don't want to, leave stuff behind from the previous, live system anyway. So, delete everything but that helper thing because I might end up needing that. I had forgotten about that. Now that's see, it doesn't show up. And here it just shows up with its serial number, and the U3 system just has auto run INF, launchpad, and launch U3 execute. That's all that's in there. In that zip, there's a few Windows apps, portable Windows apps. Starting to cough again, but that's all that's in there. There's an installer of some kind. All the launchers set up. So. Yeah, since my Crusader keeps on using up resources. Okay, well, let's just get back on the... Don't want to stay on a USB drive. And I actually want to be able to quickly look at my video, make sure it's still being made. It takes a little longer the bigger it gets to change the number there. That's my backup video. Well, I think it's... I'm streaming and all, so it's usually okay. There has been times in the past where it actually quit working. But sometimes I actually messed up and clicked the wrong thing. Because you can be streaming and not recording a video. I have it set up that way. That way, if you accidentally stop the stream, you still have the backup video running. But you can do it. You can mess up the other direction too. Okay, so I'm going to search for USB. I've got two ways to write USBs other than Fedora Media Writer. which doesn't come up under USB. It comes up under like Fedora. That multi-router's for writing more than one USB at a time. I've never got to play with that. I've got 2 USB sticks, but I never had a need to burn 2 at once. But you could, like if you had 4 or 6 USB slots on your machine, you could fill them all up with USBs and then write multiple ISOs all at the same time to them. Then you can give them all to your friends or your people you want to be, make your friends. Of course, if you're talking about Linux distros, then probably the only people that would care about any of that is the people that's already into Linux. And they may be your only two or three friends anyway. The guy that gave me these computers, he's a big Windows guy, and I built him. He lost his license key. It rubbed off the bottom of his laptop, and he didn't have it backed up anywhere. And so I put Fedora, well actually Corora, a remix of Fedora 17 on it for him, and I built a duplicate of AppWise of my system. But he says he's used it a little bit. This was years ago now, but he still once in a while he'll say, "Oh, I need to learn about that Linux." But first he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I can use that or not." But then he kind of started getting into it. I said, "It's the same applications. Well, I said it's the same principles, but different app names, you know." And he finally started catching on, I guess. Of course, Firefox, you know, Chrome, all that, it is the same. Okay, I got to log in as root. Let's see. Yeah, I need root privileges for UNet booting. Okay, now it's a pretty cool app. Trying to think. Okay, see there, I get that every time at SE Linux denial every time, and I'm not going to go look at it because it's going to be that fprintd thing. Okay. Now this UNet booting, you can do it a couple of different ways. I think it might be better, easier to see if you do it that way. You can select a distribution, and it will download it for you if you don't already have it. Let me go up here. It's got a bunch of them. If you want to learn about, you know, different Linux distros, and you don't know anything about them, then this is a good place to start. Just try them out. Put them on your stick and boot them up on your machine, you know, on your USB stick. Or on them, if you got lots of CDs and you don't mind using them up, then or you can do it on your rewritable, but some machines don't boot well on them rewritable. Some will, and the distros are kind of different about. Well, some of them will boot perfectly. Some of their ISOs will work perfectly on a CD, but not on a USB too. But well, if you get them out of here, they should work. But they're also not going to be the newest ones, I don't think. Not on this Fedora 23. Now, if you had UNet booting on Fedora 26 or 7, I think you'd get the newer versions. I have downloaded with this a few times, but okay, like for instance, where's Fedora? Okay, and then 22 Live is what came up as default. The newest that you can get is 22. You can get 22 Rawhide. See, that's how old. Actually, I guess the app is just old now. So it's not gonna. If you want the new you know, it's not gonna be any good for downloading for you anymore, unless you want the older distros. And it tells you exactly how to do it. But what I'm gonna do is I already have an ISO, and I've done this before. Now with Fedora, I used to use this for Fedora, but it won't work anymore. It hasn't since 23 or. Yeah, I think it was 23. Might have been 22 when it. That might be why it stops there. Oh, that's probably why it stopped with Fedora 22, because it doesn't work with 23. Let's try something else. Let's try Debian. See what it has in there. I hadn't thought about that. Okay. Now it doesn't tell you the version. It just says net install, stable, testing, all that. Unstable. Of course, I would want stable. H Media 64. I don't know what that means. HD Media. net install, HD media. HD's high definition or hard drive. I don't know. So net install, but I don't know what version it would be, so I'm not going to do it that way. So I'm going to go back to, I'm not back to, like that. Now I'm going to go there and select ISO. Now you can do a floppy if you're doing like, there's still some Linux distros that are actually made for floppies. Tiny Core Linux, it fits on, let's see, I think it'll all fit on one floppy. But I think if you get like some extra packages, you can put there, it'll take 2 floppies or something. I've got it over here on floppies. Anyway, it'll run on like 4 megabyte of RAM. It's pretty cool, and it's full operating system. I mean, it's pretty darn cool. Kind of like brings you back to Windows 3.1 days, but it's not excusable. It's not obsolete like Windows 3.1. Okay, now you can space to use to preserve files across reboots. Oh, that says Ubuntu only. And some of these apps for writing USB sticks, it'll say persistent storage. Like from Fedora Media Writer, you could do persistent storage. If you're going to use it all the time and you want a place to store your files, you might want to do that. But me, I don't have a lot of space, and I'm always rewriting them. So, and my little drives, they have well, I just showed you how they work. So I'm going to pick let's see. And you be 150% careful about where you're writing to. You don't want to, like, especially if you pick the format drive option, you could erase your hard drive if you picked your hard drive. This usually does a good job of picking if I already had my USB drive in the slot before I opened it up. That's one thing you want to do. Then it can see it. If you don't, it won't see it, and then you can't write to it. You'll have to close the app and open it back up again. So it's SDC. I'm pretty sure that's going to be right, but to double check, you can drive or disks. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I think disks is the Fedora app that'll show you. Yeah, this is the one I want. So this will show you your drives on your system and everything, and let you make sure you're not messing up. Put this one over here because when I click on some of them, it's gonna. There's my hard drive, and there's all the partitions on it. I have old Windows 7 on there that got infected. I need to update. I'm working on my mom, so I need to be working on this one too. There's my boot partition for my Fedora 23. That's my that's my other main partition for this has my root and my home and everything on it, and then there's an LVM. They're actually on the same partition. It's kind of weird. LVMs are different than like regular ext4s. But it looks like it's 2 part 2, but it's really just one. Anyway, I won't go into all that, but probably wouldn't do a good job explaining it anyway. There's my 5 terabyte hard drive that's really only like 4.5 terabytes when it's brand new. And that's my backup drive. And it has a little partition that it came with too, a little Windows. It's got some Windows stuff on it because it's made to work mostly. It's NTFS, see, and that is Microsoft Reserve. See, that's on there already. I didn't reform. I was going to reformat it to like ext4, but then I decided, well, it works so well, I'm going to leave it like it is. And there's my SandGrid. That's what I'm wanting to see. Now this is the 67 megabyte. I don't think I said it was 64 or 5, but that's the little U3 system down there. Now here's the 2 gigabytes. Some see this says 2 gigabytes, but I know from experience and from what it said somewhere else in there, it's really only like 1.98 or 99 gigabyte of usable space, and it's FAT32. Now what you want to know from this is that right there, dev SDC1, dev over here on the right, SDC1. That's right. So you're going to be writing to that, and there you good. And then all the rest of this, that's part of my Fedora system. That's my swap for my Fedora, and that's my main partition home dev Fedora Lenovo i5 home. So let's go back up here. So always use some way of making sure you know if you're in a window. Well, UNet booting, I think it will run in Windows. Make sure you know where you're writing to. I thought, sometimes when you click on these, they would make the app wider. That's why I thought I might need to move that out of the way. Look, for me, some reason it's harder to look way over to the right. I don't know why. I can't see as well when things are small. This is kind of small. So I'm going to go over here and get the Debian 9 64-bit. I don't believe I can put the live one on there. I'll go to my, where is it? Seagate. Downloads. See if I can. Linux. Oh, it's not letting me type the whole word. So that's going to slow me down. Wait, I think I'm close. Yeah, there we go. All right, now Debian. Oh, and this is a one-click window, too. If you click twice, you're going to mess up. Okay, now Debian 9. And that's one reason why I like to put each, like in Fedora, I have them all their own folder. See, this gets really hard to find stuff in. But because you can't organize it by ISO, you have to you got to just read through the whole thing. So XFCE. Oh, I forgot about that. These are not what I want. I want the mate. I had decided that's all that was available, but I think I just wasn't paying enough attention, because it says earlier in this video here, or the one before it, I saw where it said that all the different desktops are available. I think they've defaulted to XFCE, and they used to default, their default desktop was mate. But I ran the mate in my virtual box, and it ran really well, so I want definitely, if I'm going to do Debian, I'll go with mate. Those are the checksums. There's the mate ISO. Now, I think this one may be too big for my stick, though. It's the one I booted up from. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's 2.1. Let's go look in the file managers. I'm not seeing the sizes in here. That's no good. And this app won't tell you that. I don't think it'll just try to do it. So I think I really have to go download the one I'm actually wanting, the install. And you could just use the, Okay. Oh, that's Debian testing. That's pre-release. Wait, what's this? AMD. Okay, I do have the net install. Yeah, I could use that. That's probably what I'll do. Then I think I could probably pick, one advantage of using the net install, you have more options with Debian. I could pick XFCE and mate desktop and install them both all at the same time. That can really be helpful. Or if you want to run a server, you can go through and just pick all the server apps and everything and whatever desktop you want. So that's the one I'm going to put on there. Instead of going and downloading the mate one, I should be able to just get it. So we're going to dev SDC. Yeah, they're not not drive A, B, C, D like Windows. Dev is the folder that it's a device folder that in the Linux operating system, but the name of the drive is SDC1, and it's going to change with USB drives. Like if I had two of them in there, there'd be like say SDC2. And for instance, that drive is, it doesn't give it that name. It doesn't give it the SDA. That's, let's go up here. SDA1. The whole drive. Okay, yeah, each partition's not going to have that. SDA, Dev SDA1, that is my hard drive. That's all I have. And then these are the partitions. So the partitions, sorry, that was the USB. With the 5 terabyte drive, SDB1, C, A, B, and then C, and then, so it's not hard. And then there's the partitions are going to be named the way they named them, way the installer named them when it was installed. I didn't name them that. They were like that. You don't, I mean, you could do custom names, but it would, I would just leave them by the default. So you'd really probably, unless you're just a wizard at remembering all that stuff. Okay, so we know we're going to the right place, Dev SDC. See, I definitely wouldn't want to go to my, say if I didn't have that plugged in before I started, hear the jet plane. Then it would have found that. I'm pretty sure. So I'm not used to. I haven't been doing a lot of this since I got my USB drive. So that's another thing that could really. I mean, that's my backup drive. You better be careful. As a matter of fact, I think I have done it some, and I used to just unplug it before I started so that I couldn't make a mistake and jack it up. But I'm looking, SDC1, SDC1, so I'm good. I've looked over it like 6 times now, so I'm good. So I'm going to say, okay. And so it's extracting and copying files and install a bootloader, and then it'll say, it says installation complete reboot. But of course, don't want to boot it onto this machine. I'm going to take it out and put it in the other one. So I'm not going to reboot. But it won't reboot, it'll ask you. And since this is not a serious amount of files, it's 400 or 500 megabytes, then it won't take us a real long time. I think I'll go ahead and open up Crusader, and we'll go see. I didn't even remember that I had that downloaded. I guess I didn't download that net install just in case I needed it. Yeah, I believe that's the one I'm doing right now. 325 megabytes, see? Huh. The 386 is almost 100 megabyte bigger than the 64-bit. It used to be the opposite always. But that'll be just fine for installing. I've already, booted up to that live one, both of them. I'll see what it looks like and how it runs. Mostly I want to see how it ran. It ran really good. I did want to try it in this machine before installing. That was something I wanted to do. But here's the problem. That's 1.9 gigabyte in this file manager. Now you'll get a little bit of difference in different file managers. So I don't know. It might have worked. It might have just fit. But that's the 386. I don't want that anyway. Well, where's this one? Oh, that says 1.9 gigabyte. It might have just fit. As long as I didn't have any extra files hanging around on that. And I didn't. I deleted everything. That was what I really wanted. I thought about going and looking, but I thought, well, I already know they're too big. Because I really would like to run it on that machine. Of course, Fedora is the one I want to test and see if it'll run. I know the vein will run. No doubt about that. Well, I'm gonna, since I've already started it the way I have, I'm not gonna stop it. Just let it. I think there's just like a slim chance that would fit, but I believe Fedora. I better go look. I think Fedora. Let's see. Mate. I thought I had a 386. Yeah, no, that's server. I guess I didn't try to download a 386, so there may not be one other than this server. I probably didn't try to download one because I knew that the older machines couldn't run it anyway. It's too resource heavy. But it is 1.6 gigabytes. That's well enough under the my 1.9 of my usable space on my USB stick. It'll fit. So that one I can put on my USB stick. My other, I have two identical sticks. Server. Yeah, if you were going to do one, I would be wanting the XFCE. But that's still not the i386. I probably will be able to put this on. And it's bigger, but I'm gonna have to burn a DVD for that. Well, no, I can't install from that easy to boot thing. Oh, I forgot about that. I'll do that too. I'll put these Debian live ones on that easy to boot. Let's go see if that's done. Okay, yeah, it says reboot now or exit. It tells you how to select the USB boot option in your BIOS. Exit. I don't want to reboot. Okay. So that should be ready to use. Let's go look at our there's DU3. There it is, 1.9 gigabyte. Okay. Now see, everything's on there now. You don't need to reformat it if it's already FAT32 is what you want. It's the best one for USB sticks. So, but yeah, see, you put a setup execute on there. It's so curious to me why Debian would use that. There's the mirrors, README mirrors. I'm not going to go open that up, but now right now that documents folder's not there. But when I unplug this stick and plug it back in, it'll be there when next time it mounts. So get off of it so that it won't be. Crusader will hold a lock on it if you're. If you're still in it. As a matter of fact, sometimes you have to. Actually, I'll close Crusader because it'll still hold the lock on it a lot of times. Now, I always forget which one. One of these, when you right-click and say save to remove, it'll give an error, but it'll still unmount it, and the other one, it'll unmount both of them. I think if you do this one, that one says eject, but I think, and it doesn't eject. Okay, it didn't do anything yet. I think I still have to unmount this one. It's not a good idea in Linux to just plug and unplug. It's really not a good idea in Windows. Volume is busy. Shouldn't still be busy. Maybe, oh, because I'm reading it from that app. There we go. Yeah, see, that's one reason why you should go ahead and do the right-click safely. There's eject and safe to remove on this one. Okay, it's still showing to be busy. I don't like to make them do that. Maybe if I'd have went the other way, it might have worked. It may just be a matter of just waiting a little longer for it to wait just a little bit. I want to check my stream. This is getting to be a really long video now. I've finally gotten some headway and quit coughing so much. I didn't want to quit. But And I was all set up. I've got my machine over there on my work table and ready to boot it up to stuff. Maybe I'll go ahead and boot it up to this. I was thinking I would go ahead and write that Fedora one in this video, but you know what? I'm getting to where I need to kind of stop anyway. So, see if what happens when I hit eject. Why does it keep thinking it's busy? I've closed everything that should be accessing it. As long as you, I mean, I have done it, you know, just go ahead and force them or just unplug it. I think, well, unplugging it's not going to cause it to do any shutdown sequence or anything. That shouldn't be accessing it. That doesn't have anything to do with it, but I'll open it up and then close it. Yeah, fprint D, like I was saying about when I logged in as root to be able to do that, I wouldn't think that would cause anything like that to this. You can, you know, damage your files on your USB stick whenever you go ahead and force them to unmount or just unplug them. Anyway, but not usually with these here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see a single thing that should be still accessing it. Still seeding that. That's not accessing it. Okay. So sometimes you got to just decide what you want to do. I mean, to be super safe, you could shut down the machine and unplug it, or well, if I rebooted, it would want to boot to that. So trying to remember. I'm going to say eject anyway. Unable to stop the drive, but it's still unmounted it. Okay, so now I have it. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and plug it in over here into the machine and boot it up. That'll be my last thing I do. I'll do the Fedora on my next video. Hang on. Had to get up and look to see where to plug it in. Okay, now I have my it's all ready to go. So I'm going to go to this other camera and oh yeah, and then I'll switch my KVM switch over to that machine and you'll be able to see it boot up. Okay. I think I'll start my preview playing again so I can know that everything's working. Okay, let me switch my KVM. All right, now, yeah, you can see me moving around, and that's all. Okay. Oh, it did catch up. So I guess it takes longer to catch up than it used to. That's the thing. Now I'm watching my stream, and I see what's going on, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Finally. Okay, contact. Now let's see if it I don't think it's, oh, there it is. Oh, wait. Let's see what happens here if we get the Fedora, I mean the Debian boot screen here. Oh, we didn't. Okay. Maybe because I put it in, I usually always use the front. Maybe because of where it is in the back. So I'm going to try putting it in the front. It didn't see it, so it can't hurt to unplug it. Got to get over there. Because this machine, I don't believe I have to go in the BIOS. Just tell it to boot to USB. It might be, maybe I remember wrong, but the age of it, it should be new enough that you shouldn't have to do that. Now I'm going to hit Control Alt Delete to make it reboot. Might have been better if I just shut it down with the button and then it would re-look for everything, but we'll see. Oh, F9 boot. Whoops. I should have read the screen. F9 boot something. I might have to hit a button. I'm going to do the hard shutdown this time. Okay, now I'll boot it back up. I'm going to have to learn to read fast. I saw F9, but I don't think that's what I want. Might be F10. Usually it's not F9. Oh, delete. There we go. Got to hit delete. Removable hard disk CD-ROM. Okay, removable. Floppy disk. What? This machine doesn't boot to floppy disks. It's not going to see no floppy disk. I thought I had boot to floppy turned off in it. I may have to go into BIOS. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to go into BIOS. Now, what's going on? Oh, I thought that was playing. I meant to let it play and mute it. Oh, I'm sitting there looking at my preview. I wanted to make sure everything was working. All right, now. This is a dual boot machine. It has Fedora 14 and Linux Mint. That's what it has right now. That's the boot menu for you navigate that with your key up and down arrows and enter. But pay attention there. Yeah, okay. I'm seeing my preview now. I see what's being shown. Just wanted to make sure it was all working. Okay. I think I'll let it play as long as it's silent. Well, no, the machine can't do that. I'm going to have to stop that. Okay, now. Get into the boot. I just have to go through each one. There we go. Boot sequence. Floppy setup. What? Virus warning. And floppy setup. Okay. Removable device. Press enter. No, we don't want floppy disk. Let's see. You can't change it either. Let's see. Yeah. Up and down to go through the menus, plus and minus to move it. Yeah, escape. Sometimes you have to go right and left arrow keys to get different options, but this one has no other option. I've booted this to just be, I swear. Okay, oh, here we go. it's on the bottom. So so we'll put it on the top. Now add-in cards, I don't have anything like that, so I'll leave it like that. So now USB is on top and the hard drive is second. Now it will quit booting to the hard drive. And oh, now depending on how you want it, you know, floppy on. I'm going to go ahead and put the USB on the top on both of them to make sure it sees it and boots to it. There's nothing in the DVD drive, so it shouldn't be a problem either way. But first, boot device removable. Second, CD-ROM. Third, hard disk. But as long as you do the order the way I just did it, boot other device enabled, boot floppy disk disabled. Now we should be all right. Just kind of going through summary screen. I don't know what that is. Okay, now I'm not going to go through all the rest of it. Power management. Let's see what that says. Yeah, I was talking about a hard shutdown. I always like to set my machines delay 4 seconds, soft off by PBT in power button. Because if it's set to instant on and off, then anytime you bump that machine, it will turn it on or turn it off. You can bump the face of it. I've got one that if you just, you know what, maybe I need to check that button. Oh, yeah, I probably do, because my old Pentium 4, the actual BIOS battery holder broke off the board. And I need to solder a new one on there, because every time it loses power, the BIOS goes right back to the default settings. And one of them is instant on and off. And then whenever I plug it in and use it, I try to run through the settings, and I've forgotten. Now I know why it's doing that. Because the other day I bumped it and it turned on. That thing is just like you bump the case and it pushes that button. So let's get out of here. Save and exit setup. I got lucky on that. And then this one you got to hit yes. Okay, now we should be trying to boot to our USB stick. So yeah, some of them you got to go through all that, and it can be tricky. I mean, I've messed with different BIOSes for years now since I started learning about it. And let's go ahead and hit an arrow key so I can keep talking there. But I started learning about PC BIOSes, I guess, in '98. Yeah, I don't think I remember ever seeing. Well, I probably looked at them because I'm curious. I probably looked at them back in. I very first started ever using a computer in 90, 92, something like that. Because Windows 3.1 was brand new. I learned how to make a spreadsheet and an address book with Microsoft Works. All right, so default, help, graphical install, expert. I went through all this before. Fans making noise again. Install with speech synthesis. Wow. Could talk to it? Oh, I think it's talking to you. Automated speech install. I don't want to do any kind of install right now. That hard drive, I do not even want it on this hard drive. This I do not want to touch. I want to make it be the backup until I'm done with all this. But I could boot up to it. I just remembered that. This is not a live system. And we've shown that on the, yeah, I'm not even going to go into it because I've shown it on the, Virtual Box. You can read it good there. Here, I'm sure you can't read it at all here. You can just kind of see the pretty colors. But, so, there you go. That, I mean, at least... if you've never done it before, you got the idea, a general idea of how to set a BIOS to boot, since I ended up having to do that. Untitled entry grub O. I wonder what that is. Well, I'm not going to try anything out on this this hard drive I do not want touched. There's a help menu there. You go in there. I think it'll go in there. I started my preview, but it hasn't caught up yet. So I'll hit the reload. Looks like it's way behind. But loading the help is sure taking a long time. UBin kernel, UBNINIT. Oh, now it's there. Okay. So yeah, you can just see some colors and blurry words. That's what I was wondering, is what did it look like. There we go. It's booting into like a whole little command. I mean, it's gonna be command line. This could be something really helpful that I haven't seen before or don't remember seeing before. Yeah, it's a really helpful black screen. It could be that it won't work because it doesn't have a video driver, you know, to match this video card. But shouldn't be. I'm shaking my mouse trying to wake it up, but it shouldn't be any mouse. It's probably just taking a while to come up. And I guess it's booting into like a little, I started to say DOS screen, a little command line, a little Linux command line, so that you could read the help and you know, search the help stuff or read through it or whatever. I really just wanted, if I'd have thought it would take that long, I thought it was going to go to another screen. I didn't know it was going to actually load up something. But it could be hung up. You never know for sure until you try some of this stuff, whether it'll work on your machine. That's the other thing, is so many different combinations, you know, of machines and video cards and audio cards and Ethernet and all that. You know, everything can't be foreseen as to what will work perfectly and what might not. So don't get upset if something does. I think it probably hung up. If it does that, just you know, check out the other stuff on the menu. That's why there's so many different options. There's usually a fail-safe video option and all that. For if your video card is not just because it's not supported in the installer doesn't mean you can't get a driver for it. You can always get the proprietary driver for it. So I'm going to hard shut it down. Well, we could all hear that. Okay, so I'll turn it back on just for kicks. Now I got the USB stick out of it. Not really for kicks, but to make sure everything is okay. And to make sure that it will boot normally, automatically when I took the stick out. Yep, looks like it. Now you can either let it boot automatically after 10 or 15 seconds, or you can hit the keyboard like I just did. And then see if you were broken, for some reason, you could go back to an older kernel. It always keeps 2 or 3 older kernels, 4 in this case. And then there's the Linux Mint that I put on there as a backup operating system and a backup drive. But this is Fedora 14. And it'll just show the graphic if you don't do anything, or you can hit a key on the keyboard and watch the command line come up. And you can see, like if you're having trouble, you can see if there's any errors or anything. I got the speakers plugged in, so they're making some, letting us know they're there. The sound card's there. Okay, sorry I had more allergy problems. Now, I don't guess there's really any need to log in. Looks like it's going to be fine. I didn't think I heard it, but doesn't hurt to check. What I do want to do is, actually, I had tried to get my preview going again, and I looked over there, and it was still trying to load after I don't know how long, because I kind of forgot that I had even done that. So I'm going to make sure that my stream is still working. And then I'm really pretty much ready to quit, I think. Yep, working like a charm. Okay, I closed the browser on that laptop. I'm going to back up. I figured it might be that the browser was tired. Oh, somebody's knocking on my door. Yeah. Yeah. It's off of there, right? I think it broke and it was leaking. It wouldn't. I think the side, where it screws on. Yeah. I think it broke. It was leaking so bad you couldn't use it. I think so. You could look at it and see if I'm right. I don't remember 100%. What, did you want to wind it up? Yeah. You look at it, I think you can see it's broke. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so I can just shut this down. And oh, I don't know why that. Sorry, I went ahead and unplugged that sound cable from the computer. For some reason, it was really making noises when it was starting up and shutting down. Of course, I've never last time I had it in here, plugged in, well, probably when it was broke. I'll say when I built the system, but no, probably when it was broke and I had to fix it. All right, now, to this little desktop of this one. Sorry, I forgot to move my head. Got sidetracked. Okay, let's see. So, I've got a bootable Debian stick now. It's not Debian 8 anymore. It's Debian 9. I need to change that. Do that later. Okay, and then probably tomorrow, because I'm tired now and I think I need to eat. I can't talk anymore anyway. I'll put Fedora I'll put Fedora Mate on there first. Try it out. 27 Mate desktop. And boot it up. Oh, and I wanted to copy. I'm not going to do it now. I'm just way too tired. I'm going to copy those live. I'll just do that in the video, I guess, tomorrow. copy those live Debians onto my easy to boot. I'm pretty sure it'll boot from there. And for live system, I don't think I could install from there, but I just use the net installer. Like I said, you have more options, more things you can do. And but what I'd like to do is physically boot both Debian and Fedora on that machine and see how it does, if it's runs, how well it runs. I mean, I know it'll run good on Debian, but what I actually hope is that it would run well enough on Fedora with my desktop, really, that you know, we won't need to upgrade the hardware any more than we've already got a new 2 terabyte hard drive that I'll be putting that in there. I need to test that thing out, make sure it works. It's brand new, and I haven't made sure that there's not anything wrong with it yet. I've only got, see, I think I have till the 1st of, what do I have? The end of March, 1st of April. Yeah, 1st of April or something. That I could send it back, you know, straight to Amazon without having to go through the manufacturer and everything, if there was something wrong with it. So yeah, I need to check that thing out. Should write myself some notes on that. I keep remembering it and forgetting it for a few days. So yeah, I guess tomorrow that's what I'll be trying to do. Okay, so I'm gonna go and eat my supper, basically, be my supper. Eat my supper and go to bed here after a while. I have to eat my supper, get a bath, all that stuff. But it's almost noon, so see, now I'll be working my way around. The next thing I know, I'll be getting up in the morning instead of at night. Okay. Oh, that's done. I'll come back later when I get back to work again. Okay.